Hey everyone, it's JimClassic and you are watching Geekin It. So, last week and into the weekend, I had the good fortune to spend some time in Maryland where I was able to attend MAGfest 2018. For those of you who have no idea what MAGfest is, don't worry because neither did I. MAGfest is a convention dedicated to music and video games. That's right, those 8-bit musical beeps, straight up into symphonies that are featured in video games. To many people, these computer-generated sounds are works of art and beloved. Held at the Gaylord Hotel and Convention Center in Maryland, the hotel is very spacious. It is enclosed by a gigantic skylight with the balconies on the inside of the building looking out over the Potomac River. And this convention is pretty darn huge. It was massive. It was consuming several floors and a fully booked hotel. Several booked hotels, in fact. Where I was staying, I was across the river in Virginia, just because everything else in that area in Maryland was filled. If any of you have ever been to a convention, you have a pretty good idea how both exciting and maybe even overwhelming they can be. And it seems like MAGfest was no different. The convention was filled with all walks of life. There was so much to do, so many things to see. I'm certain that it satiated just about everybody's needs and interests. The first day of registration, they were still setting up. Many of the rooms were still closed off to the public, but there was a hustle and bustle and a certain energy in the air. But there were convention goers strewn all about the halls, talking with friends, strangers, and there were cosplayers walking all about. Hell, I even saw R2-D2. He seems like a nice guy, but he tells a lot of dirty jokes. Safe indoors from the blustery, cool, wintry day outside, the convention was about to kick off. As the day went on, some of the closed-off areas began to open up, and oh, the wonders that I saw. The dealer's room had so many wonderful wares and fan art and doodads that I really wanted to buy just about everything that I saw, and I really have to be selective and choosy here. There were gaming rooms set up for both tournaments, competitive and casual play, and I could definitely spend a few hours playing Smash Bros. Wii U with total strangers, and I had a great time. It didn't even matter that I was the worst player in the room. I was just having so much fun playing with actual human beings instead of just playing Smash Bros. Online. There was an arcade set up in another room, which had so many of the old classics in the old cabinets that used to be common sights when I was growing up. Throughout the day, and throughout the entire convention for that matter, there was an inside joke, a kind of a running gag, if you will, of people trying to imitate the crescendoed war cry of the famous Marvel mutant Colossus, as he does in the old X-Men arcade game, which was there, by the way. I unfortunately did not get a chance to play it. Periodically, you would hear one person yelling it at the top of their lungs, and then a wave of others all over the place, like one after another. And apparently, this living meme is so common there that the staff had to put up signs where the yelling was prohibited. Eventually, day did transition into night, but that didn't slow down the convention at all. If anything, I think the energy increased when all the night owls stirred awake. The auditoriums turned into raves, and the heavy electric thumps of the bass could be felt outside and throughout the halls. However, it did start to slow me down. Eventually, I conceded that I was tired, and I had to retreat back to my hotel to await Day 2's adventure. Friday was the second day of the con, and I couldn't wait to resume the day's activities. There was a guidebook app that I downloaded, which allowed me to plan out the events and the panels and stuff I wanted to check out. Of course, there were so many panels that I thought were interesting, and so many other distractions that, I ended up only seeing a fraction of what I actually wanted to check out. I would say more about the guidebook app, but, I'm not being endorsed by them or anything. No, but suffice it to say, it was pretty helpful. It really helped put everything in perspective of what I wanted to look at and what I wanted to look at for Saturday and Sunday as well. Of course, I did spend much of my time playing Smash on the Wii U. That's kind of a given since I'm a huge Smash Brothers fan. So there's that too. That killed a lot of time and was a huge distraction. Although I did make plenty of time to do one of my favorite things at any convention, and that is check out the dealer's room. I love walking through the marketplace and seeing what artists and vendors have available for sale. There were, of course, a lot of video games on sale. NES, Super NES, Sega, PlayStation games, of the different, 1, 2, and 3 and such, and etc., etc., etc. There were plenty of everything to go around when it came to the gaming department. I even picked up at least one game myself for the Sega Genesis. Not that I own a Sega Genesis, but I own an emulated console, a third-party Retron 5, which will play Sega games. So I got this for $10. I haven't had a lot of fun in this on eBay for anything less than 20 or 30. So I figured why not? I'll pick it up. Of course, the games were pretty cool, but one of my favorite parts of the marketplace is, of course, the fan art, the art crafts, and stuff like that. And so I was talking to a few artists, and buying a few goodies here and there, and it was a glorious time. So sadly, I was on a bit of a budget, so I wasn't able to get everything that I wanted to buy, which is a lot of things, to be honest. But I did buy some artists' prints. I bought some pretty cool bookmarks that are on, that the artwork is on metal, aluminum metal plates, and I got some cool little stuff like that. Got a little bit of pixel art, which is always kind of fun, and it just there's so much going on in these marketplaces that I just wanted to buy everything that was available there, and of course that's just not possible. I'm not normally too interested in indie games, but there was one I was kind of checking out, and I was playing a beta version of it. It's called Chrono Ghost. Now, in my mind, I went to one of my favorite video games of all time, and that would be Chrono Trigger. But since this was an indie third-party game, that's not exactly legal, so it literally was not anything like Chrono Trigger. You are a time-controlling ghost. On one bumper you could speed up time, on the other bumper you could slow down time. If you hold them both together, you can completely stop time for, a short amount of time. And the whole point of that function is that you are slowing down or speeding up the traps around you so that you can get past them. And anything with a yellow glowing aura was affected by your time travel, or time stopping, or time altering abilities. Anything with a green aura was simply not affected by it. So you had to kind of properly not only control your time abilities, but you also had to control kind of your jumping time as well. And it was a pretty nifty little game. Like I said, it was still in beta. There was still a few weird bugs going on, but it was fun. But it was fun, and I'm imagining it'll come out eventually on Steam or whatever.
I spent some time enjoying a lot of the music throughout the con. For a while I was hanging around the lobby in the evening, listening to a few bands play, because there were a couple of bands on each level of the lobby. It was like the layout of the hotel, there were like multiple levels. In the theater area, I was also listening to some of the electronica that was playing. I ended up buying some of the CDs to a few of the groups, and I really haven't stopped listening to them. And at the date of this recording, it's been about 2 weeks, so it's pretty good stuff. I closed the night out with some more Smash Brothers and a pinball, but eventually, exhausted, we shuffled back to our hotel.
Saturday started off a little bit earlier for me. I got to my 9 a.m. panel miraculously on time, and the other two panels that I was planning on getting to that day, I just, I had made a lot of good time. Two of those panels being a Q&A with Vince DiCola, He was one of the composers for the 1986 Transformers movie, and afterwards I got a little meet and greet with him and did an autograph session. He signed a CD that I bought of his at the convention. It's called Of Two Minds. I figured I'd give it a shot. And of course, no autograph session is complete without the obligatory awkward photo shoot with a celebrity. Sure, it was a pretty bad picture, and there's that. But at the very least, I got to shake his hand, I thanked him for his work, and he seemed like a genuinely nice guy.
The middle part of my day was pretty much Smash Brothers. Spoilers, yeah, I know. Shopping at the marketplace, and being detained by Mandalorians. That was interesting. But there was a lot of great cosplay. Each day, there was something cool and awesome to see. Just someone walking around in costume. It was sublime. It was beautiful. Throughout the day, I still saw a lot of dancing. A lot of people just dancing in the halls and just having a good time, But you did have to watch your step because I did bump into a few people every once in a while as a result. And, oh my god, it's nightmare fuel. Though it was pretty cool. Samara had the TV kind of on like little wheels so she could kind of roll around the floor and just jump out and contort herself in new and frightening ways. But it was still pretty cool to watch. Around 8 p.m., I think, I saw a cosplay dance-off. Not that I've been to a lot of dance-offs. In fact, I don't think I've ever been to one. But this one was pretty dope, as the kids would say. At least, I think it was. Whatever, I did enjoy it. Seeing Mario and Luigi dance off against Ken Masters and Pa Rappa the Rapper, and a bunch of others was pretty... oh my... fun. Anyway, these clips aren't really doing this dance-off any justice. The talent, in my opinion, that night varied from dancer to dancer, but there were a handful who really blew me away. Even some of the less technically skilled dancers wowed me every so often. Regardless, they all danced better than I could, so, I might not be the best of judges.
But most important of all, it just looked like those people had a lot of fun.
Of course, Super Smash Brothers and pinball again. I haven't played pinball in so many years, and it was just so fun to play it. I was actually starting to get the hang of it, of course, on the last day I was planning on being there. In fact, I was having so much fun that it was 1 a.m., and I really wasn't feeling it. My body was still ready to go. I wanted to talk to more people, take more pictures, play more of the games, soak in more of that energy. But alas, I knew it was time to leave. Tomorrow morning, I had to go home and resume my normal life. Reluctantly, we left the convention for the last time. I took some pics, talked to a few more people on the way out, and I got myself back so I could prepare to head on home Sunday morning. This being my first MAGfest, I have to say I had a great time. Maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, I'll be returning. I really don't know yet. But I certainly know that one day I'll be coming back to MAGfest. I'm JimClassic, and you've been watching Geekin' It.